We're live.
Hey everyone, welcome to Real Talk episode 3. So I'm Dr. Mel and I'm going to be sharing a whole lot of insight on liquid nutrition. And those of you that have joined me in my consultation spaces know that if you've got any issues with your gut, the more severe issues, we go into a belly and biome, which is a liquid nutrition process. And the theme today really is how liquid nutrition can save your life. So I'm going to also share a beautiful secret recipe, which is liquid nutrition. So I'm going to encourage you all to stick around till the end for this beautiful recipe. All right, so there's obviously a couple of folkies joining us online and we have you watching, and I am literally just going to fill some space with you for a moment while we get everybody into our beautiful chat room. I've got somebody watching out for questions. Obviously, I'm sitting here and chatting to you. And of course, if we don't endeavor to answer them during the talk, we'll certainly get back to you in the feedback and the comments. So, I really just need to say thank you for everybody. This is only episode 3, and it has just been such a beautiful influx of beautiful souls, either watching a post that we've put online after the event or joining us in a live, almost like a Zoom room. And it's been phenomenal because not only are we getting to share some knowledge and wisdom, which is really my passion, we're getting to meet a lot of new different people coming into our flow. And these type of talks create relationship. And a lot of folkies are also coming into some of our beautiful courses or our workshops, or even visiting with me in person in consultation. And that's really what these talks are about. It's to establish some sort of relationship with you so that you can see if there's a resonance and jump into the flow of this knowledge and to apply some beautiful changes for your life. So obviously we're doing this every third week of the month. However, in December, it is the festive season. So we're going to be jumping online on the 13th of December, and we're going to be talking about how to cope with the festive season. And look forward to sharing some tips and tricks with you there. So for those of you that are online in our chat room, I'll just encourage you to comment in the feeds. I've got somebody responding to you. And of course, as I said, towards the end, we'll endeavor to respond to your questions there as well. All right, guys, so I suppose we need to get onto it. And really, like we said, the theme is liquid nutrition. And where this really came from was there's so many different beautiful fads when it comes to the world of nutrition, and it's clouded because there's so much information. People are sharing principles of keto, then it's keto meat versus keto vegan only, vegetarian only. Do we do banting? Should we fast? Shouldn't we fast? And it's really quite difficult to decide what is the right path for you. The worst of it is really that a lot of it is a theme in a moment in time, and everybody jumps onto that theme because it's the latest thing. That fear of missing out is quite real or surreal. And unfortunately, at a particular time in your life, it might not be the right idea for you. So the latest trend, everybody's talking about fasting and intermittent fasting. And this is where liquid nutrition was birthed from, because the beautiful philosophy, the spiritual philosophy, is simple. Fasting without prayer is starvation. And we don't really want to starve the body. What we want to do is encourage the body to start healing itself. And so I sat in deep contemplation and really, download of information from all of this knowledge that I've pulled over the years, and went, surely liquid nutrition is the better option because it's like a fast mimic, but you're still nourishing the body. So you're not starving him or her out. And that's where we found how liquid nutrition really can save a life. So obviously in my speciality, I'm absolutely passionate about the gut, and most of you know from the previous talks, I do speak very passionately about the gut bugs as well. And in one of my philosophies, we went into How do we take you from digestive distress, where the body is just saying enough, I've had absolutely enough. Now that could be a toxic overload as well. I've had some clients that come in and they go, gosh, it just doesn't matter what I eat anymore. My body is flaring. The inflammatory response is on high all the time. Or I've got this terrible eczema and I've tried everything. I've quit certain foods and it's just flaring up. And we go, okay, whoa, we need to stop. Let's just stop and pause. And that's where we filter into this philosophy of liquid nutrition. And the reason for that is if we take away the distress of the body, if it's working so hard to churn around all the things that you're putting in, and you're putting in a combination of too many different variants, you don't have the opportunity to understand which of those foods are causing the actual distress. It's almost like muddy waters. And so when we pull it back and we go into a liquid nutrition philosophy, we're not depriving the body, but what we are doing is nourishing the body in a very gentle way to see how he or she responds. And so what we do is we institute some parts of liquid nutrition, the first concept, juicing. And it's just such a beautiful way to rescue your body, because in the philosophy of a juice, you can actually pack in a diversity of nutrients from almost all of the plant kingdom. So whether that is a vegetable or whether that is a fruit, you can work with these gorgeous combinations and you're getting the wholesomeness and the energy of that fruit in a juice. So I want to talk about juicing a little bit, and then I'm going to move on to other liquid nutrition principles. Juicing is life-saving because most of us are nutritionally deficient. And just because you eat a healthy diet or you eat a diverse diet doesn't mean that your body has the ability to work with those nutrients. And so what juicing does is it delivers the nutrients into the bloodstream immediately for the body to absorb at cellular level. So no matter what's going on in your gut, no matter what's going on with your detox pathways, you have a direct delivery mechanism. Now, a lot of people poo-poo a little bit about juicing because the real issue is not the juicing itself, but it's cleaning the juicer afterwards. And so what we do say is, doesn't matter what juicer you buy, it's the one that you use that counts. And if juicing physically is too much energy and effort, you can always lean into these beautiful companies that do offer juices that they deliver to your home. The trick there is that you are looking for cold pressed, and it has to arrive frozen because the enzymes in the juice break down really, really quickly. But technically how juicing works is we have two keys that we work with. You are allowed to combine vegetables and fruits, but the rule is that we go 80% vegetables and only 20% fruits, because fruits are sweeter. This is where that fructose thing comes in. And a lot of people are quite wary of fructose. And of course, when you juice a fruit, you are stripping away all of the fiber and all of the other nutrients that actually mitigate the fructose load. So by juicing fruits, you do get a little fructose overload, and that's why we rather pull back to 20%. And the reason for that is just to put that balance into the body. But there are just an array of gorgeous nutrients that come in both of those particular food types that your body then takes immediately. So technically, a liquid goes into the mouth, into the stomach, and almost immediately within 5 minutes it leaves, it parts ways, and it goes into the bloodstream. From there, it flows all the way through the system, and it starts to deliver those nutrients to the cells. Now, a little trick, so this is not a secret, but it is a little trick, is to actually add a teaspoon of one of your favorite oils. I love cold pressed hemp seed oil. It's a bit nutty in its flavor, but it's almost perfectly balanced in its omega 3 to 6. So it has a 1-to-1 ratio. So not only am I getting my essential fatty acids in, but that fat component, let's say that oil component, binds to the molecules of the juice, and it mimics the outer layer of your cell membrane, and the cell membrane pulls it in so much easier. And immediately, bam, you've got all these nutrients delivered to the cells, and they just start thanking you. So having that awesome power juice first thing in the morning as part of your breakfast, breaking fast with the juice, you've got every single nutrient your body could possibly hope for delivered immediately to energize you and to lift you off, which is great. But it's a juice, so it's not going to make you feel full, it's just going to nutrify you. Now, somebody who's nutritionally deficient, who has possibly been eating a more Western diet, a lot of junk food, who is nutritionally deficient, can actually have this rescue remedy. Just put that juice in every single day consistently, and within a week or two, the body starts to find a new place of balance because it's got everything it needs. So such a beautiful rescue remedy. Well then, I'm also a fan of smoothies, but this one changes a little bit because it's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit more gooey, and now we can shift the balance again to the opposite. So we go 80% fruit with 20% vegetables. And the reason for that is that when you throw your fruits into a blender and you churn it out, you've still got all of the beautiful enzymes and you've got all of those beautiful fibers. Remember, your juicer had parted ways, you know, that gooey stuff on one side, the liquid stuff on the other, but your blender is all of it in one go. And so the digestive process, while it is still very easy and gentle on digestion, there is a little bit of a digestive process. So now you're going to eat that gorgeous smoothie, it's going to go into your stomach, some things shift and change with your stomach acids, and then the nutrients go down through the small intestine and down to the colon, and have a transit time of about 4 hours. So remember the juice, 5 minutes, bam, everything's in the cells. Now you have things coming in 4 hours. So a smoothie actually makes you feel full, which is really beautiful. Because we're working with a little bit more fruit than what we are vegetables, another beautiful tip, not a secret, but a beautiful tip is just to throw in a half to a full teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon, known as poor man's insulin, allows your body to regulate its blood sugars, and the only thing is because some people are a little bit more sensitive than others. This isn't about being diabetic or being pre-diabetic. This is more about a little bit of insulin management and possibly even insulin resistance. And so the safety net is by adding the cinnamon to your smoothie that your body has a regulator to help it work with all of these beautiful nutrients. So now we have a 4-hour transit. It's a little bit slow, a little bit more steady. It's got sustenance, so it makes you full. So a smoothie is like the ultimate breakfast, or a smoothie bowl, a little bit more sexy, and you can throw some fruits into that. Another really awesome option. But for most people, it ends up being like that perfect mid-morning snack, you know, that 10 a.m. snack. And again, it's not putting any burden on the digestive system because it's soft, it's already pre-digested. Now, I love the principle about pre-digested. You know, let's just take you back a bit. We'll go for some, many years, for some of us a little bit less. But if you go back to when you were a baby, while your digestive system was actually developing post-birth, so it's a process that actually happens, it's busy cultivating itself and it's getting used to the principle of transitioning from milk, being a fluid full of nutrients, to some more solid foods. The first thing that mom would have done was either make a purified food and introduce one ingredient at a time for baby to get used to it, and then she would start combining ingredients, and gosh, here about month 6 to month 8, she'd start introducing some solids. And the reason for that is that a young digestive system isn't ready for those solids. Now, an old digestive system or an unwell digestive system might also not be ready for those solids. So the liquid nutrition philosophy allows us just to take the edge off, go back to basics, this is really beautiful, get all those good rich nutrients in to allow the body to find his or her rhythm and balance, and then slowly recultivate by introducing those solid foods again. And that's part of that life-saving process. So it really is quite gorgeous how we can work with a juice and a smoothie at the beginning part of our day to get this wholesome, rich, nutrient-dense food into the system, ready to rumble because it's pre-digested, already chewed or broken up, and your body is thanking you and thriving. And personally, if you do a juice or a smoothie every single day of your life, it's a bonus when you eat anything else because you already have everything your body needs to be well and strong delivered in the first part of the day. So moving over to a more solid lunch or a more solid dinner, great extra options, like optional extras, so to speak. Okay, so that's a little bit about juices and smoothies. Now, for those of you that have joined me on Belly and Biome or any of my other type of resets, you will also hear me say the infamous words of broth and soups. And these are some of my other favorites. So much can be found in a broth. And you know, in the old days, I must say the old days, our granny and our great grannies used to do chicken soup. You know, you would hear, especially the Portuguese grannies, you know, they would come in with a special type of chicken soup. And they would use that to heal because there's a lot of nutrients in those bones. But it is cooked out. So we find that it's a long, slow, steady release of beautiful nutrients into the broth itself or the liquid itself. And the longer you cook it, the richer it gets because all of those nutrients are actually still getting absorbed into the fluids. And it really was medicine back in those days. And the thing is that in our modern world, we've just forgotten about that. You know, gosh, there's a writer, an author, you wrote chicken soup, good for the soul, and I 100% agree. However, being a little bit more vegetable orientated, I go, it has to be organic chicken. And the reason for that, unfortunately, is that also the bad things inside of the meat would also be absorbed into this fluid and you would be negatively exposed by that. So the cleanest possible chicken or the cleanest possible bones that you could find are important to avoid any of that unnecessary toxicity. And you know, the biggest thing to always ask is, how was this animal raised? How was this animal slaughtered? Was it honored in any way? You know, you've got farmers, they name their cows, and those cows, they play music to them and they do meditations with them. That animal was honored. And then what did that animal eat? Because anything that it eats, you are eating as well. But a bone broth goes a really, really long way to help your body. And for those of you that know the gut heal process, there's always going to be a bone broth recommendation in there, because when it comes to leaky gut, we use that form of liquid nutrition to get all of the minerals and all of the healing components, the collagens, the fats, etc. into the gut, because it mimics that gooey layer inside of the colon and it seals and heals it up, which is so beautiful. And that a bone broth takes you there so much faster than any other type of broth. However, we have to always come up with a gorgeous alternative for anybody who is vegetarian and vegan. And so one can do what I call a vegan bone broth, where we actually use seaweed, because when you reconstitute seaweed, it gets that same gooey type of layer to it. And you then do a beautiful vegetarian version to help your gut heal. You just need more of it and you need to use it a bit longer. But technically, a broth is just a wonderful way to get a real amount of nutrient density in your body, and a cup or two here and there every day or in alternate days of the week. And of course, if you're doing a gut rescue, well, then we want to go 2 cups a day for 21 days to really fortify the gut, and anything you do longer is a bonus. But it's just such a wonderful way to bring rich healing to your body. And you know, when we go to hospital, unfortunately, there's times and places where we're there. It's funny enough that they often have jelly and custard. That's kind of everybody's favorite dessert. But that's collagen. It's gooey stuff. But they often have soups. And the reason is that it is a lovely way to give gentle nourishment to the body and actually to help people recover. So there was a bit of method in the madness there. All right, so that's broth in a nutshell. Now, what is soup? Well, soup is kind of like a broth, but it's a little bit more. And there's obviously two types of soup. So in this case, if we're following a true liquid nutrition philosophy, we'd want the creamed version. So we want all the good things, all those beautiful good vegetables thrown in, cooked up with some gorgeous healing spices, and then blitzed out. And the reason for that blitz out is so that you can again pre-digest and actually break down all of those nutrients into a beautiful fluid that you can then drink. And this is again, you know, when you boil all of those vegetables at a slow, steady, constant heat, what we're doing is we're actually extracting all of its nutrients, and the nutrients are caught in the fluids, in the water. So blitzing it out, we've now broken down those fibers, we've got all of the beautiful nutrients, and we're drinking that beautiful cup of soup. And who doesn't enjoy that in the wintertime? So a lot of folks would say, okay, but it's summer, Mel, you know, we're in South Africa at the moment, we're in our summer. For my clients and folks that are online here, that are overseas, that type of soup philosophy is right up your alley, because I believe it's getting dark at like 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. already, and it's starting to get really cold. So the soup philosophy works well. In the more summer season, our southern hemisphere, where we have the summertime, well, there are some beautiful raw soups. And of course, you know, I'd love for you guys to comment and share, and also just, you know, if there is anybody that needs a bit of inspiration, we have tons of gorgeous recipes that we can share with you around some of this diversity. But a cold soup or a raw soup is also just a wonderful way. I mean, who doesn't like gazpacho? It's just gorgeous. And it's another beautiful way to get this raw, cold, liquid philosophy into the system. All right, so chunky soups, well, also good. It is part of liquid nutrition, but there are, of course, some more solids there, and it's going to require a little bit of digestion. Very often when you are in a bit of digestive distress, a chunky soup can still cause a bit of bloating. And the reality is, because you've got all of these different vegetables coming in, so you might have some cruciferous vegetables, you might have some root vegetables, they all digest a little bit differently in the stomach. And of course, what it can do is it can cause a little bit of bloating. However, if you take that very same soup and you blitz it out into a creamed soup, you shouldn't have any bloating at all. For some folks, they may still get a bloat, and that just tells us a different story. That will really just lead us into understanding a term called dysbiosis. It means bacterial imbalance, and that it's not so much the food, but it's some of the elements in the food that the body is not able to digest because the bacterial balance isn't right. So no matter what you do with your liquid nutrition, it's going to tell us a little story about how your body is actually able to work with those foods. Again, the philosophy of this is really about, how do I deliver nutrients to my body really quickly in the most dense format that I can. If you eat a salad and you are having a piece of chicken with that, there's a tremendous amount of energy that your digestive system needs, and it also needs time, because some parts of your meal digest within 4 to 5 hours. Other parts might take 12 hours or 18 hours, and only then, provided you're doing it at the right time of the day, are you actually getting the nutrients delivered to your cells to actually give you what you need. Whereas this liquid nutrition philosophy is almost bam, with the juice 5 minutes, bam, 4 hours with your smoothie, and of course your soups work very similarly. Alright guys, so I mean, like, today's session is a little bit shorter than usual. I'm known to talk for a long time, but liquid nutrition, I mean, there's not much more to say about it than try a beautiful juice, try a beautiful smoothie. In the evening, soups and broths do such good favor because it helps you sleep better. There's not all this digestion taking place, and that during your daytime, you might savor that for your more solid meal. Okay, so any questions, just pop them on that feed. We're going to get back to you. And then also, I did promise you something. I think I said something about a secret recipe. Well, I mean, this is just the simplicity of it. It's one of my favorite, an all-rounder actually, but it really is great for the gut. And a few of you that know me will say, I'll just go 1 carrot, 1 apple, and 1 olive, being your olive oil. per day gives you all of the amino acids you need to be well. If you throw anything extra into that, whether you choose to add some spinach, whether you choose to add a little bit of ginger, a little bit of lemon, you're only going to make the base of that juice better. But in the simplicity of a carrot, an apple, and a little bit of olive oil, your body's getting so much already. Great for your skin, great for your gut. In actual fact, all those enzymes in the carrot and the apple help to break down what we call tarts, the dirty stuff, the sticky stuff that gets hard in your gut. So it's a wonderful little gut cleanser. And me being a gut person, obviously I'm going to share that with you. My favorite smoothie for the day, absolutely adore blueberries because they're the regenerating foods. They give back to the neurological system and to the DNA of the body. And they really help your cells regenerate themselves. And the simplicity of a smoothie, one banana, handful of blueberries, a little bit of cinnamon, blitz it out, and again, anything extra you add becomes a bonus. Dash of lemon or lime, add some red cabbage, and now you've got something to heal the gut again. You've got to just try it out. You know, it's almost carte blanche. Bang a few things together in your juicy and blender and try it out. Now, not all juices are good. There are some green ones. They are bitter. Remember, the more greens you have, that's the bitter flavors coming in. Bitter, it's there to cleanse the body. So it's the detoxes of the body. The minute you start working with the oranges and the yellows, you've got energy and anti-inflammatory colors coming in. So those start to lean into the more tropical flavors. You know, nothing better than a bit of pineapple and mango and banana into a smoothie per se. So I think I've shared a few tips and tricks and that little secret, 1 carrot, 1 apple, 1 olive. I just wanted to say, guys, thank you so much for joining and watching. I look forward to seeing you in December on the 13th, so don't forget, that's a slight change there. And of course, we'd love for you to like us, love us, don't just like us, love us, subscribe, comment, message, and of course, for those of you who might already be leaving for the festive season before the next round, may I just say, may you all be blessed with abundance, may you all be blessed while you're in your rest phase, to invoke what does 2024 look like for you? What does it mean when you come back from your rest? And when you do, we have another surprise because we're doing our 8-week wellness journey. And it's just so perfectly timed in January because it's the new you, it's the new year, it's the new year's resolutions, all those lacquer things. And we've got a gorgeous process to take you through to like really invoke that healing version of yourself. And you can step into 2024 renewed and new, recovered. So look forward to seeing you all soon. Bless you. Take care. Bye.